All right, what's going on, party people? We in for another episode of Pop Talk. This is your man, Professor Neil. I'm signing on for the Casual Rand,
What's up, though?
Coach Dave,
Root.
and Boston Jared.
Peace.
So we are not going to take up too much of your time. We are just here to pop in for kind of a special edition to make sure that we give you our pundit picks for this upcoming. I call it a super fight. It's particularly a super fight for the lower weight classes. So this is the super bantamweight title fight, which matches up Stephen Fulton versus INOUE, and this has implications for pound, and also, it's a legacy making fight. Particularly people who are looking for INOUE to kind of step up to a challenge, and this is what they win. This would put Stephen Fulton on the map for a lot of casual fight fans who really don't know about his work, even though he is an undefeated champion. So we're going to start off with our first pundit pick is going to be delivered by the Casual Rand. So give us a little bit about how you think the fight is going to play out, and then deliver your pundit pick.
Yeah, I'm excited about this fight. Looking at both of them, both guys' skill set. In a way, the power puncher. Fulton, the more slick. I wouldn't say defensive, but he is slicker and he can get in, get out, and he's broad with heavy punchers and bigger bodies. So this one is going to be hard for me to judge. At first, going into this weekend, I was going to pick INOUE by decision. INOUE is just he's a special fighter. Fulton's going to have to stay away from that check hook. That left hook of his is dangerous. INOUE has a beautiful body game. He pounds the body. So it's very, in his offensive game is very little to critique. So he looks good. For Fulton, Fulton's best attribute is his previous fights led him up to this. I mean, he's been fighting bigger guys that was known for hitting hard, but I don't know if he has fought anybody with the speed of INOUE. But to me, why I said I'm switching from INOUE to Fulton, I just think Fulton has the speed and he has the punch count that's gonna disrupt INOUE. INOUE, if you let him sit down and get off first, he's gonna pound Fulton. But Fulton has that high rate, and he's gonna put fist to INOUE's face, where INOUE, for one of the first times that I have seen, will be on the defensive side. So I don't know how INOUE will react on being on defense that much. I think Fulton has the ability to just keep pressing, and then when he's not pressing, he's fast and slick enough to avoid some of those power shots, as long as he's cognizant of that left hook and that brick hand. I think that Fulton would get it into the decision.
All right. I would respectfully disagree. I mean, we've seen INOUE on the defensive. He basically fought on the back foot for the majority of the fight when he fought Nonito.
Yeah, Donaire the first time, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good give and take.
Nonito's fought as high as,
I believe 126. I think he fought.
Was it 126 or 130? I know it's been at least 126.
Oh man, was it 130? I don't think it was that high, but
yeah, I don't think he fought on the 130.
He's definitely fought 126 because that was against the Axeman. He got stopped in that fight.
Oh, that's right, Nicholas Walters, man. Yeah, the Axeman.
But let's go ahead with your kind of breakdown and pick for the fight. Your pundit pick, Boston Jared.
I've been saying Fulton for a while now, and I'm going to continue to go with Fulton. I do think that this fight is going to be a little bit more competitive than I initially anticipated. Having gone back and reviewed more of Inoue's fights, I do think that Stephen Fulton is going to be at a speed disadvantage. Inoue is very, very, very quick. He's got very, very quick feet. He's got very, very quick hands, almost like kind of like a reptile, like reptilian type speed. He's just real quick. He covers a lot of ground with very, very, very minimal effort. Fulton, despite being billed as a slick fighter, which he is, I think prefers to be flat-footed. He's going to have to pick up his feet a little bit more than he probably wants to. He's going to have to get after Inoue, because I think Fulton's size, I think, will bother Inoue a little bit at first. And like Cam pointed out, Inoue is very, very, very content to get on his back foot, not so much to fight off of his back foot the way a guy like Floyd or a James Toney or one of those guys would fight off of their back foot like a tank, but more so to create that space and get himself, alleviate that pressure as how you'll see him moving backwards. You don't really see him fighting with his back to the ropes and stopping short and planting and moving. He uses those quick feet to create space and then turn guys and bring the fight back to the center of the ring. I look for Fulton to be able to quickly and effectively cut that ring off and deny Inoue those escape routes out the back. When Inoue retreats to those ropes, Fulton has got to pick his feet up, get on the balls of his feet, and beat Inoue to that side door. You cannot let him create too much space, because he'll turn and he'll bring the fight back to the center of the ring. Fulton has got to sustain that pressure, and he's got to bring this fight to the inside. Fighting Inoue from the outside, I think, is a recipe for disaster. I think that Inoue, his hand speed, his flashy punches are going to be, he's already going to be up on the judges' scorecards when he gets to the fights in Japan. I don't like Fulton. I think Fulton can eventually break him down and potentially stop him on the inside. His size, his strength, and his slickness defensively. I don't think Inoue will be able to find the mark the way he has against more conventional fighters, guys who fight out of the high guard. Fulton, I think, is going to be able to roll and slip and catch a lot of those punches on his arms, on his elbows, and on his shoulders. And most importantly, he's going to be able to counter punch. So when Inoue punches, he catches, blocks, slips, boom, and fires back a clean, hard counter punch. Make Inoue pay. Make Inoue think about every single punch that he throws. In our previous videos, I thought that Fulton had to stop Inoue in order to get a win. But having thought about the fight a little bit more, I do think that he will be able to put a convincing enough boxing performance on that he will receive probably an artificially close, maybe a legitimately close decision. It's really, really, really going to depend on how he's able to execute his game plan.
Yeah, it's interesting. So just for the record, when Nonito Donaire has actually fought at super featherweight twice. The last time being when he lost to Nicholas Walker. So he's fought as high as 130 pounds, which was obviously at the kind of height of his at the kind of limit of his his power and prowess in there.
And Fulton is not as big as Inoue. And I want, if I can, Cam, real quick, I want to make a quick point, because this came up in 2 shows prior, and there was a lot that was made of this in some of the comments on some of our previous videos. Coach Dave had pointed out, we had asked Coach Dave to speculate on the walk around weight of 2 of the fighters. There was a lot of back and forth in some of the comment section about the walk around weight. I actually went and looked it up, and there was an article published by a Japanese outlet, KyotoNews.net, and this is an article that was dated December 15th, 2022. And in the article, it indicates that Nonito Donaire, Inoue, walks around as high as 63 kilograms, which, if you do the math, is about 140 pounds, 138 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. In a separate article that was dated, I'm not sure when, it was a boxing scene article where Fulton was addressing upcoming opponents, and Rais Salim had calling him out, something of that sort. Fulton indicated that he walks around as high as 145 and over. So take that for what you will. But potentially a 5-pound discrepancy walk around weight. I'm not so sure that I don't know how much bigger that actually translates to on fight night. Again, Fulton had said 145 plus, so maybe as high as 150, 153. Inoue apparently as high as 140 walking around. So maybe the size disadvantage in favor of Fulton is not what at least I had made it out to be. Fulton certainly appears to me the larger fighter, so we'll see. But I wanted to point that out because that's something that came up in a previous video we had done. You on mute, Cam?
Sorry about that. So Coach Day, could you enlighten us with your fight breakdown and then give us your pundit pick?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a very, very interesting fight, man. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think where, I heard a couple of the other pundits saying, fighting him on the outside might be hazardous. I think, somebody was saying got to fight him on the inside. I mean, I don't know, man. That in a way is dangerous, man. He's dangerous, bro. So the thing and why I'm picking Fulton is I like guys on the inside. So anytime that Joker can bang and pound and crack some ribs or whatever, man, I'm gonna love him on the inside. But I do think that timing of Fulton's, I think timing has a way of dealing with speed a little bit. I'm gonna be straight up front with you, man. And the thing with Fulton is I do think that people can have their own opinion about, do they like Inoue on the inside, do they like him on the outside? Me personally, y'all know my fight game. I like busting him internal. I like his game on the inside better than I do on the outside. Fully respecting his speed. But I just think that Fulton has both of those factors, man. I think Fulton can bang with this guy on the inside, cautiously bang. And I think that, even on the outside, that punch volume and that timing, I think can be a problem for Inoue. I think it has to be a mixture of both. And this is what I'm hoping Fulton's corner is saying. And let me be crystal clear. I hope that there is a mixture of both, getting at Inoue, as the casual one said, like just hey, I'm here to fight. And then at the same time, don't get too cautious on that inside with Inoue. You can't do it. You're gonna have to find an equal balance. I'm thinking Fulton frustrates Inoue. I'm thinking all the pressure of the fight being where it's at causes Inoue to get a little bit over aggressive with all that speed. And I'm looking for Fulton to do a serious possible countering tie punch that I think is going to daze Inoue because of that aggressiveness and that adrenaline that's just going to be there on him. I would say don't even be surprised that if if Fulton can find the balance of taking it to him and banging him, equally mixed with frustrating him with those punches and the jabs and those angles, I think you frustrate Inoue, and I think you catch this man slipping and getting aggressive. I'm tentative to say late round, just pure sneaky punch. I'm close, but I'll say Fulton by decision, but I will absolutely say this guy stings Inoue because of the aggressiveness. He stings him. He clips him, man. I ain't gonna say he stops him. I won't go there, but I'm telling you, I think he only if there's a mixture of both, inside and outside fighting. So I'm gonna pick Fulton. I'll go ahead on and say by decision, but I absolutely say I think he's gonna surprise folks when he clips this guy. He's gonna clip this guy.
If I could just add to what Coach Dave was saying real quick, I'm looking for Fulton to get after Inoue's body early and often. Get after his body. But in order to do that, he has got to control range and he's got to control the real estate. He can't let Inoue skate around that ring like how I've seen him do, especially against larger guys like Donaire. Donaire is a much, much heavier feat than Fulton, and he had a tough time cutting that ring off. But yeah, I'm with Dave. I think Inoue definitely goes down once, if not twice, in this fight.
It's going and again, man, I'm tempted to tell you, man, it might be a stop, bro, but he's gonna clip this dude, man. And that timing of that boy is the truth, man. It is the truth, bro. So I'm gonna go ahead on and say decision. I'm probably gonna hate myself if he stop him, but he catches this dude.
Fulton ain't known for knockout. So
okay, so listen, and I'm glad you brought that up because I want this thing on record. What I'm telling you is that aggressiveness and that movement of Inoue with a time shot is what's gonna clip this guy, man. So if you got something coming forward and then something coming towards you, and that meet, that's a head-on collision, or chin-on fist collision, whatever you say. He's gonna clip this guy.
Especially if he gets frustrated, because this guy is not used to fighting. Out of all the guys I've watched him fight, I can't think of anybody who is defensively as dynamic as Fulton, as far as the way he defends with his rolls, his slips, and for a guy who's used to throwing and landing clean, hard, eye-catching punches, it can be very, very frustrating when you letting go with your best shots, your slickest shots, and this cat is catching them in his gloves, he's catching them on the shoulders, on the elbows, and he just keeps coming forward, he's not effective. That can be very, very frustrating. And like Dave pointed out, there's a lot of pressure on this guy. He's fighting in front of tens of thousands. I can't remember how many people the stadium that he's fighting in holds. There's a lot of people. The whole country is going to come to a stop when this fight happens. A lot of pressure. And I don't know that Inoue has fought in a fight of this magnitude before. This is the biggest fight of his career, as far as I know. So,
well, I mean, so one, he's fought in front of, right? So he was part of the Super 8, competition for the bantamweight, and when he beat Nonito Donaire, so he's had that pressure, right? And to me, I'm a little surprised because to me, I thought he was super composed. If you don't remember that first fight against Nonito Donaire, he got caught with a left hook that cut his eye, I think, in the first round.
I was like the third round or something like that. Third round,
yeah. And then he got shook. She got shook to his boots by a right hand, which I thought that was in the third round when he got hurt by that right hand. And the guy never veered from the game plan. So, and he's always fought, and this was huge because you got to remember Nonito Donaire, he was up there in age, but he was still an international star, and he was also of Asian descent, and so this was something, I think if there was an opportunity for him to lose his composure, and also this guy was catching hard lefts from Nonito Donaire, which at one time in his in his career, that was one of the best weapons in boxing, his left hook.
Yeah, so let me just say this, and I think for you, especially Cam, and for Dave, who have fought in serious amateur fights, I would say that it's a different kind of feeling when you're in an action-packed fight. Getting hit is one thing, but looking bad is another. When you're swinging and you're hitting air and you're hitting shoulders and gloves, and this guy is applying pressure to you, I think that's a different kind of stimulus than it is getting hit with clean, hard shots. As crazy as that might sound, Inoue was up and in control for the majority of that first Donaire fight. I don't know that he's going to be up and in control throughout this fight. If at any point in this fight, he may be down and the fight, if Fulton might be dictating the pace and not letting him land and responding with clean, hard shots, that's going to affect him. I don't think he's been in a fight like that yet, especially definitely not, like I said, with a guy defensively who is as good as Fulton. That can get frustrating. We've seen even a guy like Canelo. We've seen Errol Spence. Those guys, when they cannot land, when they can't execute and impose their will on certain guys, they get frustrated and they lose their discipline. And that's when they get clipped. We've seen guys with more pedigree than him lose their composure.
Go ahead.
And I would just try to add, and I honestly, man, I do remember the first fight vaguely, man. I mean, a little bit, to be honest with you, man. There's just a lot in my head. But
great fight.
But when he I'm trying to remember when he got stunned or rocked.
Yeah, he got shook to his boots.
That was like round 6 or 7 of that fight.
It was a pull counter, so he was
right, no, but I don't
right hand.
I don't remember there being, and I might be thinking about another fight, but I don't remember there being a solid follow-up after he got caught.
There wasn't.
Right. Okay. So then I'm thinking about the right fight. So my thing of it is this: the punch volume that Fulton, you let Inoue get clipped or rocked, it's gonna be a barrage of other stuff coming while he's trying to come out that daze, bro.
Yeah, but they're arm punches though, right? I don't see Fulton sit down too hard. Like I agree. I think that he can catch him like coming in on a counter, but you know, when I've looked at some of the footage on Fulton, he throws quick, but it's, you know, it's kind of like he's not sitting down.
You're right. He don't have a lot of leverage on a lot of his shots, and a lot of them shots are arm punches. But like Dave said, you catch a guy with a well-timed shot,
yeah,
and you hurt a guy, and then you go to that body, and it don't take a whole lot. But you hit somebody on the liver or on the spleen, it don't take a lot, especially if it's a shot you don't see coming. So and I'll say this too. Let me put this out here too, and I'm gonna go right back to your point. And I'm specifically coming at that arm shot stuff. I like my man's, you know, and maybe I'm putting a little bit too much confidence in my man's corner and fight prep, right? I just think them taking into consideration the explosiveness and the speed of Inoue. But like I said, now I look at that inside. So like I like this guy on the inside. Anyway, I think he's next. I like him. Anyway,
right?
Okay.
I like him on the inside. I'm hoping that corner has told him, you're going to have to, if you go after him and you pressure him, when you get to that body or do whatever, you're going to have to sit down and throw it hard. I'm hoping that we see the same thing that we saw when daggone Haney went and fought Lomo. The way that boy was going to that body surprised everybody. Don't tell me it didn't. That corner said, we're going to take them angles from this cat. This is what we're going to do. And he beat that joker's navel up to his chest, gave Lomo, looked like he had 3 nipples. He was on that boy's body.
So hard shots. And Loma got hurt. Loma was hurt a couple times by them shots too.
It's hard for me not to holistically think of it from a if I'm prepping this Fulton guy, I'm saying on the inside, a mixture of on the outside. But when you on that inside, you doing that damage. I don't be surprised if these jokers ain't, because his explosiveness and speed might not be as quick and as fancy as Lomo's movements and angles, but them body shots gonna slow all that stuff down. So I'm hoping this corner is just thinking. So don't be surprised, man, if you see a Joker, if you see him digging, Cam, you see him digging, man.
No, I mean, I've seen him do some good body work. I just think that I don't think he wants to be anywhere near that power. I don't think he wants to. Well, for one, I don't want to judge him too much, but I thought that he, you know, speaking of Fulton, I thought that he took too many punches against Brandon
Figueroa.
Right. I mean, he stood in the pocket. And when you were thinking about that punch count, it was Figueroa. He actually, in that fight, he threw over 1,000 punches. So right before I give my pundit pick, I do want to say that the odds for the fight, and I think y'all should bet, is INOUE is a favorite coming in at a -340, meaning that you would have to bet $340 to get back 100. And Fulton comes back at a +250, meaning that a $100 bet will get you 250. But when it comes to Fulton by a KO or a TKO, he's +900. So he's almost a kind of a 10-to-1. So if you feel like you got $100, you want to kind of just put out there a couple hundred, he's gonna have, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna come back for you quite a bit. So for me, I'm surprised because I'm actually going with INOUE. Well, I'm like, that's my pick. I got him by, I'm gonna say I need to give a round. I'm actually going with a 10th round stoppage. I'm gonna put myself out there. And it just me, I might be just a little bit too enamored with his fast combinations, and I think it's a little bit of his kind of underrated boxing ability, because I think people get so enamored with his kind of punching power that the guy can block. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen him make in fights adjustments, and I really do like his composure. Not only that, is like, this guy attacks the body, so he's not somebody who just kind of relies on flashy headshots and things of that nature. This guy will break you down to the body. And you know, if you take out the body, you can easily take out the head. But I think, you know, based on what you guys are predicting for the fight, I mean, I think that if Fulton puts in that type of performance that y'all are predicting that he can, I mean, I think you got to consider him, you know, on your pound for pound list. Particularly with how high that we rate INOUE, particularly if he does a job on him. I don't see it. I actually see a stoppage coming. I think that this I think INOUE knows what the stakes are for this fight. This can make him, he's already a star. He's not necessarily an international star. I don't think the American audience has necessarily kind of embraced him as they did with Pacquiao, and even, you know, to a certain degree Donaire. But I think that if he does this job, and if he gets Fulton out there, I think that he could start to be somebody that that we talk about a lot over here in the US. All right, so we are gonna wrap it up, but let's take a couple of kind of closing statements from the pundits. Go ahead.
Okay, quick question. So if Fulton wins, he's top 5 on the pound for pound. If
I knew he was going to
wins, does he jump the winner of Spence Crawford, or does he at least jump Canelo as the face of boxing? I think
the face of boxing.
If INOUE beats Fulton, I think he is top. He's already top 3. I will argue that he could be the top dog, the #1 pound for pound in boxing.
Okay, #1 pound for pound, not the face of boxing though.
Well, I mean, I think the face of boxing is
money.
It's kind of up for grabs. But I mean, we could say, but you know, some people would argue that Javante Davis, you know, is
Yeah,
the
that's
new
money
face,
wise.
is
Oh,
the
and
new face
to
of
answer your
boxing.
question, Professor Earl, from our earlier conversation, yeah, Ryan Garcia just tweeted that he made 30 mil. So
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on the way back to the crib. Yeah, that's a lot of money. So how much did Tank make? If Ryan made 30,
That was my thing. And I'm surprised Tank ain't putting out. So if he made that, but apparently the 50-50 split when it came to it, but I don't necessarily see that because Tank already had the majority of the guaranteed money in there. So he at least made $30 million for that fight, which is,
yeah,
I think is awesome. I didn't think that guys were making outside of Canelo and the heavyweights. I didn't think that guys were kind of making those kind of numbers.
yeah, that's a different. That's our next discussion, man. It's big. It's definitely a discussion to be had about belts, and like Haney got the all 4 belts, and he's not going to be. Well, it's still a 50-50 fight if he fight Tank. And going forward, those type topics. But today is all about INOUE and Fulton. And I think INOUE gets the top slot if he beats Fulton, especially in by KO.
I would hesitate.
temporary. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I would hesitate to put him over the winner of Spence and Crawford, just because I think that when you have 2 pound for pound boxers that are kind of going at it, and that and when you look at the level of competition between either one of those guys who win the fight, I think that they'll have a leg up over INOUE.
But that's the same thing. We just said that Fulton was a top 5 pound for pound guy.
No, he's top.
No. Who said
we
that?
Didn't say that. We didn't say that.
What y'all say? Like
we said if he
10?
beats INOUE, if he beats INOUE, he can be part of the pound for pound. But that's
but my thing
he hasn't
is
done
so when
anything
Spence
yet.
when Spence beats Crawford, that's going to make him unified in one. Like when everybody said he's only been in one division. If INOUE beats Fulton, that's his what, 4th?
Yeah, it's second division unified. That puts him definitely in front of Canelo.
So
I already had him ahead of Canelo anyway.
I've already had him ahead of Canelo too.
So I put him as the face. I mean, not the face because of the money, but at number 1 pound for pound. But I don't see him doing it. So
if Crawford beats Spence, then no, he jumps back to 2. It'll be Crawford and INOUE be 1 and 2 pound for pound. Right? Crawford will have undisputed 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
Right. Multiple division champ. I like now that INOUE will be up there. Especially he goes out there and he stops Fulton. I mean, he's already top 5 pound for pound for me, arguably top 3 or 4. Yeah.
I got him top 3.
Yeah. But if closing last thing for me is Fulton has got to cut that ring off. He has got to mitigate. He's got to mitigate the foot speed of INOUE. He has got to close that distance, and he cannot be on the end of those punches. He's got to smother those shots, and he's got to be able to cut the ring off and prevent INOUE from escaping and bringing the fight back to the center of the ring, because that's where INOUE wants to fight. He wants to control the distance. He wants to be in and out, throwing 1-2s and 3s behind around your guard. Fight's got to be on the ropes and in corners is where Fulton has the best chance.
Coach, what are your final thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a mixture of what Boston and Rand said. I think yes, you got to take it to him and put the pressure, but I'm gonna still say you got to stay outside that ring, stay outside that range, make that boy try to use his feet, frustrate him, and catch him coming in and slipping with that timing and put his ass to sleep.
All right.
And look, nah, you know what? Wait, you know what? Bump it. You talking about this joke gonna stop Fulton? I tell you what, man. I'm going Fulton by stoppage, bro. Bump it. He gonna catch him slipping.
Okay. All right.
I'm going Fulton by stoppage, man.
Everyone's got Fulton except for Cam. I got him by decision, which I changed. I was initially stoppage a few weeks ago, but now I got him by decision.
Yeah,
Huh?
me
What
too.
round? What round was you thinking stoppage, Jared? What round were you thinking?
I
It
was thinking
He don't got
late.
stopped.
I was thinking last quarter of the fight. So like round 10, I was thinking a hook, left hook to the body, something like that. A body shot was what I was thinking was gonna stop him.
I mean,
All right, I'm
Fulton
gonna press.
does good work to the body. And when I've
Yeah,
seen him hurt opponents, it has been to the body.
I'm gonna press to 11, bro. I'm gonna press to 11.
11? Yeah.
Yeah, let me go on record with that one.
That's what it is. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right. So with that, we'll have our prediction, and we'll get opportunity to react to our predictions next week, and then we'll also give you our predictions for the fight of the decade, maybe the fight of the century when it comes to Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. But with that said, we are signing off. This is your man, Professor Nim. I'm signing off for Coach Dave, the Casual Ran,
Peace.
Boston Jared. Peace out, y'all.